To another BuzzCast. I'm Dave Meyer, and I have with me
I am Trygve.
Trygve and Dave are here to talk to you about budgeting for marketing success. We're going to get through all of the little things that you need to know if you're trying to set a marketing budget for 2018 and beyond. We thought about this for a while as we were setting up our editorial calendar for our busy webinar and BuzzCast schedule, and this is really the time that everybody needs to start planning before the holidays, before everything gets crazy. So we figured we would just get into it with you today and guide you through what you need to know. I'm going to switch screens just for a second so that we can check with this and make sure that everybody's seeing what they need to see. But
this is like a super episode. We've done all these webinars apart for so long.
I know.
It's like Game of Thrones season 6. Finally, we're reunited.
We're bringing the band back together. It's just so fun. I'm going to put this right here so that we're paused on the screen and we don't hear each other. And it looks like it's taking a little bit of time for broadcast. So as soon as it pops up on my device, I think we'll be good. I'm going to go with that it's working. And Jen and team, if you guys don't see anything, be sure to let me know, because we should be seeing some sort of broadcast as we're going, and it says that we're broadcasting, so hey. Well, while we wait, I see that we've got people popping on again, so I think we're all good. Let's screen share back over to our deck so that we can introduce y'all to us. If you don't know me, I'm Dave Meyer. I'm the guy on the left, and Trygve is the handsome fella on the right. And I run BusyWeb. Trygve is our Buzz development manager, and he really is the guy that goes out and shakes the trees, talks with all the clients, and has most of those first tier conversations about how to set budgets, about what to do with your marketing. So we're going to talk a lot about that. First, wanted to share a little bit about who we are and what we do, of course. We're a digital marketing agency located in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And if there's anything that we do really, really well, I'd say it's helping our clients build forward from strategy. We're full service in email marketing, social media marketing, search engine optimization, advertising, inbound marketing. We have partnerships with all of the big companies, and we're official partners with most of those big companies. And of course, we also do web design. Here's some examples of our web work. Anywhere from prints to UN subcommittees to the beautiful sites that you see on screen.
You're actually being a little modest, too. You personally are one of Google's top educators in the country, right? So our partnership with Google is a lot more in-depth, and you have a lot more knowledge than you're letting on.
Well, thank you, sir. And that's a big part of the new stuff that we've got going on. I am now an official contracted speaker for Google. So I'm going around speaking and training all over the country. And so wherever you are, if you wouldn't mind dropping into the live chat window where you're coming from, and hopefully I'll get a chance to see you soon.
Quick plug, Dave will be in Pittsburgh on the 25th of this month. So if you would like to meet Dave in person, make sure you get to Pittsburgh.
Stop on by.
Just the city, really, anywhere.
Right. Just, you'll see me.
Yeah.
You'll see me. I'm hard to miss.
Just walk the streets and shout, Dave!
Where's Dave, man?
Dave's not here.
See? All right, so here's our agenda for the day. We're going to go through intros, which we've already kind of covered. I'm going to share very briefly how to ask questions, but then our big four that we want to talk about is marketing budgets as a whole, how to figure out a target market so that you know what you're budgeting against, channels and tactics on how to spend that budget, and then measurement, how to know that you're accomplishing something, because if you're not measuring, you're really not marketing. So with that, I'm going to switch screens one time again, and we're going to go back over to show you if you attended or if you joined, and actually I'm going to just go up to the BusyWeb homepage. If you're at our link page, and you'll get there when you probably got here by subscribing. We know what you spent last quarter, and inside of this event page, you can watch the video live on this screen, or if you click on YouTube Live right underneath that, and I'm highlighting that for you right now, if you click on this link that I've highlighted, it's going to take you to a secondary page that looks like this. And what you'll see from here is the link, and then down here, if you click under this live chat window in the lower right corner underneath the browsed video, ask your questions and tell us where you're from here. So that's how you ask a question, and we'd love to take your questions because, of course, this time is all about you. So thank you again. And since we're already here, I'm going to stop screen sharing so you can see the wizards behind the curtain. Dave, hey, Trygve. So Trygve, is there anything that you want to start us off with as we just kind of think about strategy before we go into the official, there's like 5 slides total on this deck.
I think the most important thing to think about when you're thinking about budgeting and figuring out how much money you're going to be spending is to think about what you need to accomplish first. And I know that seems fairly elementary and fairly basic, but if you can start with your goal and then reverse engineer back to where you are today, the plan will sort of reveal itself in a way so that you can start figuring out things like hiring vendors, figuring out what new things you need to build, figuring out where you need to put your money to get your advertising. And part of that is, in addition to that, actually truly knowing where you need to be and who are you trying to reach and accomplish.
Right.
Is your audience male? Is it female? Are they married? Are they single? Are they over the age of 35, under the age of 35? Where are they in their life? What are their needs? What is their true pain point? Those are all really basic questions that a lot of times companies that we meet with don't actually have an answer for, or they have the wrong answer. So one of the things that just makes me facepalm when I meet with somebody is they say, I've got the greatest idea on earth. And I say, well, great. What's your target market? And they say, everybody. Well, no, that's just not true. Unless it's food, shelter, and love, your target market is not everybody.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And another thing that I see as a common pitfall is clients don't really, or just anyone that's trying to market, they don't really think about what the needs of their target market is.
Yeah, and that kind of gets into my second point, is that often in marketing you see that small businesses like to focus on what they think is cool. And what you think is cool is not relevant. What is the most cool is what your customers find cool. And sometimes there's an overlap, sometimes it's exact. Often it's very disparate. Often what your company your clients are looking for is the complete opposite of the story you're telling. So actually knowing that first helps figure out the execution strategy. But if you don't know that, that's really where you need to start.
Precisely. And so, start with the end in mind. If you go to your website, and you should check this right now, check out your website, and does it talk about you? Or does it talk to your intended client? What you want to get to is who is trying to visit your website, who makes the most sense for you and your business, and why should they care about your business? If you have on your website that you've been in business for 17 years and pictures of all of the people that work for you and posts about what Mittens, the in-house cat, said or did that day, cat would probably, if they said something, that would be something.
How come we don't have an in-house cat?
I'm allergic to cats. It's a big thing. But if it's all about you, you're not giving your customer any reason to engage with you. You want to talk to them, for them, and tell them what you can do for them. So focus on that.
A good rule of thumb is look at your website pretending that that's really not your company. Look at it and go, 2 questions you want to ask. Number 1, what am I supposed to do here? And if there's no forward momentum whatsoever, if you're not being asked to take an action, your website is essentially useless to you. And second, being honest with yourself. Would you buy from this company? Looking at it. Is the font palatable? Are the pictures obviously stock photos? Or is it interesting? Is it engaging? Is it nice to look at? Because ultimately, everybody that we have dealt with at BusyWeb, everybody in the world, your job basically boils down to one of 3 things. You are either helping people make more money, You are helping people save more money.
Right.
Or you are helping people have a different relationship with time.
Right.
And so if you can't understand that by looking at a website very, very quickly, and we are guilty of this too, which is why we're going through a fairly major
right. Absolutely.
If you can't figure that out within about 2 to 5 seconds, you just taking care of your house needs to be the first thing you do.
Absolutely. So let's back up because I think we're already talking some of this.
Yeah.
When you're setting your marketing budget, here are the big questions that you need to have settled before you can truly take an educated guess on how much money you need to be spending, or more importantly, where you need to be spending your time. So first, what you need to accomplish as your marketing accomplishments is the first thing that you should answer. And I don't mean just make more money.
Yeah.
But I also don't mean something that's so granular that it doesn't make any sense. So getting more Facebook likes doesn't make any difference to any business in the history of the world. It's what happens after people like your page. It's how they connect with you. It's just like Trygve said, what that call to action is on your website, and does it drive people forward in the purchase process or not? So what do you need to accomplish? Obviously, you need more sales. If you're a nonprofit, you need more donations. So break that down backward from that component part.
Yeah.
If I'm going to make more sales, what do I need to do? Right.
And it's a good time to stop and make a point. One of the things that we counsel people at BusyWeb is when we meet with them is to have 2 things included in their marketing goal. Number one, having a finite goal, meaning within X amount of time, this needs to be accomplished. And number 2, it needs to be realistic.
Yep.
We are not, as much as we'd hate to admit it, we are not miracle workers.
Right.
If your business is failing, you shouldn't be hiring a marketing person. You should be looking for a job. If you are, marketing can help incrementally make the good better. But if you're not good, you need to get to good before you start worrying about marketing. So having a realistic goal, like, you know, one of the things I taught a seminar yesterday at the Minneapolis Public Library, and the point that I made there was, if you're looking to double your business, that's easy enough to do when you have a client. Going from 1 to 2 is easy,
right?
But going from 300 to 600 is not easy, and that takes time. So make sure that it's realistic and it's measurable.
Absolutely.
When you're talking about how to accomplish something.
Perfect. So you know what you need to accomplish. You know how you're going to get your customers. Well, and you kind of need to think backwards and see what your customers already get from you. And so if you're trying to connect with your customers, look at how you have received new business in the past. Was it networking? Was it, people that checked out your Facebook page? Was it calls off of your website? People searching you on Google? Was it responses to ads? And then obviously, do you need to do more or less of that particular activity? So you almost need to have a whiteboard and just jot down every single thing that you did and how effective that was over the course of the past year. And
if you don't know, you should start there.
Right.
Figure that
out. Of course. And a lot of businesses don't.
Yeah.
They just, we did some stuff. We have a salesperson and she was fantastic. She called everybody and we grew 25%. How? I don't know. Yeah. And so you need to go back and think about what are the component parts that you can measure.
So if you're thinking about where do my customers come from, and your nose immediately wrinkles as you're starting to think, and you're going, no, okay, yeah, and it's time to put some real numbers together.
Right. And so backwards, again, you work from what did you do, what worked, what didn't. If you don't even know what you did, then this year is your baseline year.
Yeah.
Right. So just set up, okay, here are all the things that we did. Just set up a spreadsheet, put everything out there. And what you're ultimately trying to get to is your cost per new customer acquisition. So all of the activities that you did in your marketing divided by the number of new clients, or the number of new sales.
I feel like we should stop and make a point before we get too far. years ago when I thought I was the smartest guy in the room, I tried to figure out how to count cards. And so I got the book on how you count cards. And it's this really interesting book in that you have, it's like the first chapter gives you the basic theory on it. And then there's like the first paragraph of chapter 2 is, okay, now memorize a six deck thing. And then you can move on to the next part. So all of which, I'm using that as an analogy to say the really hard part is very simple for us to say, in that you really need to have a good command of your numbers in your business. And I used to own a business before I came to work at BusyWeb. There's a respectable thing that happens. You go from having no money to having some money. When you're in that some money category, then it's a pile of money, and you take some off and you put some back on, and you don't really have a good understanding of it, and that's fine, and that's a good place to be if you're you're eating and you're paying your mortgage, and that's fine. But to grow the business into the next step, you really have to understand the intricacies of where those numbers are. So a lot of what we're talking about today is based on that next step. If you really want to take that next step in growing your business, then the numbers conversations that we're having here today, and the numbers conversation you should be having, is applicable. But if not, then go back and try and learn how to memorize 6 decks of cards at once.
We're trying to go to what you really need to accomplish as a business. And
what I just said is that'll cost you $1,000 in business coaching.
See,
if you hire a business coach, just do that.
And your business coach will send you
an invoice.
Sure, no problem. Or we'll take it in good wishes
or beer.
Beer is always handy. The underlying goal of any marketing is to elicit some sort of a physical measurable response.
Measurable.
Yes. So if you're trying to get more customers, and to your point, Trygve, what we need to figure out for you, or what you need to figure out for yourself, is what does success look like for you, right? And it's very possible that you have a lifestyle business. You're getting enough business in to support yourself, to let you buy whatever things that you need in your life. And if you took on any more, you would have to hire more people, and that would add more complexity. And so maybe you don't need to budget anymore. Maybe you don't need to market anymore. If, however, you want to grow to scale, this is where marketing budgets really pay off. And really, for most of the businesses that BusyWeb serves, the folks in the $5 to $50 million and up segment, that's a real need. You've got all of your operations set. You've got your sales engine sort of set, but it's not humming on all cylinders yet. And what you really need is a way to get replicable and bankable leads in the door. And so I want to drive you down, for everybody that's watching, and do something of a little activity. So I'm sharing my screen as long as I can find my mouse. There we go. And I'm going to screen share back to where we were. I'm going to present to everyone. And now I want to show you this neat little spreadsheet that we have that helps us figure out the additional revenue that you can expect from a new client. And I have a slightly different tool that's even simpler than this that I want to share with you in a second. We are going to have a call to action at the end of this event to set you up for a 15-minute conversation with us.
And we should preface this by saying this gets really nerdy really quickly.
Yeah.
However, it is revelatory in that it will, when we looked at this, it was one of those moments where we suddenly figured something out. So if you stick with Dave throughout this, it'll pay off in the end.
Yeah, and we probably built it up more because I'm going to spend like a minute and a half on this, but
it's going to be a great minute and a half.
Yeah, it's going to be brilliant. Super. So hang on to your hats. So let's say for your website, right? Currently, you get 2,069. Let's round it up to 2,500 people that you get on your current website. How many do you want? Well, if I could get 3,000 people into my website, that would be brilliant. Because, and then you can start seeing how all these numbers work. So you get into a tool like this, and this is easy. If you just Google client client value spreadsheet. I believe that there's a downloadable version of this available from HubSpot. So feel free to tinker with this. If you can't find it, send us a note and we'll help you get there. How many leads do you get in the current month, right? So if you're getting 50 leads a month and you want to get 100, let's be a little bit more realistic. At the change of 50, so you're going to get 1.2 times more target customers in, or
Which is
visitors.
really 20%.
Right. And leads per month, you're going to get another 50, so that's double. And customers a month, you want to go from 4 to, let's say, 8, because that'll be a nice round double, right? So,
and this is really aggressive. The 1.2 is a realistic figure.
Yeah.
But to immediately go to 2 times and then 2 times again,
right,
it means you're going to be focusing, you're going to really be doubling down on marketing, and you're going to be putting a significant effort towards it.
Absolutely. And it has to be the right people, right? And so we could talk about that forever, but what our target visitor to lead conversion rate, I think this is probably pretty realistic. So 2% lead to customer conversion percent. If you're getting 2% improved conversion percent by another 2%, so that brings us up to 10% total.
So what that means is for every 100 leads you get in, you get 2 clients.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So you should know, if you're doing business, how much your end customer spends on their purchase. This is a round number for BusyWeb as a start.
That's about your average sale, right?
Yeah. Well, for a start, right? Because that's for an example website. So, but how many times does the customer buy? 5 times. So your estimated value of new customers, 100,000. You're going to get 4 new customers per month, as we said, and then the customer lifetime value is 400 grand. So in general, they say that you should be spending about 15% of your budget in marketing. Now, I know that can be pretty beefy for a lot of businesses. So set something that's at least above 0 and figure out what you need to do, right? So if I wanted to do 2%, that would change my client-based value price of services to $8,000. So I would need to be prepared in order to get that $400,000 to spend $8 grand, right? So there's your budget for marketing for the year. Now, slightly different and a little bit easier, I think, to get is a marketing and traffic leads calculator. Again, I got this by Googling through the HubSpot publicly available stuff. We're a HubSpot partner. They have fantastic tools that are available for free for you. But again, your new monthly revenue, if you wanted to get more revenue. So if I wanted to get, say for my business, I need $100,000 a month in revenue. It's a nice, easy $1.2 million company, right? The new percentage of revenue needed from your marketing. So what percentage of this revenue do you need to book from marketing as opposed to other places? So I've got a salesperson out there. That person's dialing for dollars. They're networking all over the place. My marketing only needs to take care of 25%, maybe.
And an easy way to figure that out is generally your revenue comes in 3 buckets. It's either existing annuitized revenue, meaning money that you can bank on
right
at any given month, and then that's one bucket. The other bucket, I guess, technically has 2 subsets. On the one hand, it's what are your sales team doing?
Mm-hmm.
So what organically comes in, what comes in from referrals, things like that.
Right.
And then that third bucket, which is how much do you need to go out and get?
Right.
And that's where that number that Dave's talking about, where that comes into play.
Right. So where I go, in general, I think you want to go for as many marketing leads as you can get, like additional. And, I'm probably being small. I think if I was realistic, I would keep it at 50%. But, for our numbers here, if I'm tinkering around with it, average revenue per client, $20,000, as we mentioned before. Monthly new customers, this is calculated results. So this is stuff that's going to start getting calculated. If I'm at $100,000 in new monthly revenue, 25%, 20 grand in revenue per client, you need 1.3 new customers per month, right? So if my conversion rate, my lead to customer rate is currently 1% and I want to get to 2, then I'm going to put this to 2%. If I wanted this to be aggressive and 10%, I go 0.1. Oops. 0.1, hit that, 10%, and that's the monthly leads that I need. So visitor to lead conversion, blah, blah, blah. You're going to need 313 leads out of this in order to get where you're trying to go. So there's all kinds of ways that you can do this stuff, and I don't want to get too geeky. And again, I spent twice as much time as I promised on this, but it's important to start playing with numbers to see what this budget means.
And it's important to realize that if you take anything away from Dave's demonstration, there is that there is a butterfly effect in your business, and every action that you take is important, and one thing leads to the next, which leads to the next. And it all affects each other. So one change that you make one place, it will butterfly out and affect a lot of different things at once.
Yes.
Which is why with that spreadsheet, yeah, is a little nerdy, but it also has a tremendous power in showing that one thing leads to the next and leads to the next.
Right. And everything that it outlines in those buckets are things that you should be considering for improvement in your marketing. So if you know that you're not doing well at all in engaging new customers, that's something that you need to do. Let's talk about customers for a minute. Target markets. You need to absolutely figure out who your best customers are. We've had all kinds of seminars and webinars about marketing personas, but take a look at this, and I would pick up to 5 of your favorite client types. Now, you might start by listing your absolute favorite clients, your favorite customers, your favorite donors, your favorite volunteers, but list them out and then try to stratify them into at least 2 and no more than 5 different kinds of customers. You're going to give them a fictional name, and Marketing Mary is the head of marketing for a $5 million company. They're in manufacturing. They're interested in growing their leads because they have 2 salespeople and they want to hire a 3rd. They're trying to get to that next tier. And here's where Mary's going to search, or here's what Mary's going to do to research BusyWeb, right? So that's an example of how we would do it. For your business, of course, it's going to be very different, but you want to generalize as much as possible so that you can start writing to that generic person.
So let me clarify, make sure I heard you correctly. So take your best client.
Yes.
And then within that best client, figure out, why did they come to you?
Yep.
What are they looking to accomplish? Why are they continuing to do business with you? And make that more in a generalized sense.
Yes.
Because if this one client is out there,
right,
and I think it's probably fair to say that the client that you get along with most.
Yeah. Who's your favorite?
Yeah. And so generalize that, and then figure out, how did you get there? How did they come to you? What did you do? How did you accomplish? How did you accomplish that? Was it a referral? Was it a cold call? Was it something completely zany that ended up landing you the business?
Right.
Because what you're trying to do is replicate that and figure out, based on that experience, or even as Dave's saying, doing that a couple of different times, replicating that experience as a methodology for your sales process.
Absolutely. So, and it's important that you genericize these people, because your single best customer probably has some quirks that you're never going to find with anybody else, because we're all unique, right?
Right.
So if you said that I really want more customers like Bill, and you're talking to Bill and you're writing for Bill, well, you need to be more generic, because there are lots of people like Bill, but there's only one Bill. So build that out and start thinking about how you can best engage that type of person. So think about it, and then most importantly, what are they going to Google? What are they going to type to find you? Those are the keywords that you need to include on every page, on every post, on every tactic, which leads us to channels and tactics. So,
and before we leave that last one, a good thing to think about is, if you don't know, ask your favorite client. If you don't know how they got there, ask them, how did you get here?
Right.
And oftentimes what you'll find is that somebody who you never knew really liked you referred them.
Yep.
Or gave you a glowing recommendation.
And that's your secondary market. That's your referral partner market,
right,
that you need to engage as well.
So that's one of the things that I think of more as the Henny Youngman, the old comedian from the 40s, who he would tell the joke, well, doctor, the guy goes into the doctor and says, doctor, it hurts when I do this. And doctor says, don't do that.
Right.
So that's a concept in physics known as Occam's razor, which is the shortest possible and easiest explanation is usually the right one.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm using a lot of big words to say, if you don't know what your clients are looking for, you should ask them.
Right.
Because more by and large, they'll probably tell you.
Absolutely. So you know your customer, you know what they do or how they found you. Now we're going to figure out how to get more, right? So this is where you're going to start attaching dollars and cents to the different channel tactics that you're going to pick. So paid marketing. If you're going to have a Google ad campaign or a Facebook ad campaign or a LinkedIn campaign, you're going to need to spend something. There are tools out there. There's the Google AdWord, or there's the Google keyword tool that'll help you very simply round up how much you could expect to spend. This is actually one of the easiest ways to figure out how to get dedicated traffic. And you'll probably be surprised as to how little it is.
I want to skip to the end of this slide. I know you have a good story here,
sure.
But I'm looking at this for the first time, much like the audience is, and I'm seeing a word which I don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
What's inbound mean? What do you mean when you say inbound?
So inbound in marketing geek speak is everything that comes into you. So your job as a marketer is to put yourself out there in the world and let people happen across you because they're searching for you, because they're searching for things that are similar to what you do, because they've found you because you've been mentioned, and then they come into your business. So they're coming inbound to you. What you do from there in inbound, and this is kind of where the HubSpot methodology comes in. We have partnerships with a few other companies for different price tiers. HubSpot is generally premium, but for inbound marketing, the idea is someone visits your website, and then they take some physical next step. They'll fill out a form, they'll watch a video, they'll register for an event, they'll give you a call. Based on that, you can automate your marketing to continue to engage that person more and more and more until they're a hot lead. So they go from not knowing you at all to, oh my goodness, I need to talk to Trygve because he's obviously got the answer to what I'm looking for.
So the story that I used, because I like stories, is everybody's read Tom Sawyer, The Adventures of Tom Sawyer. And there's a point in Tom Sawyer where Tom is forced to paint the fence.
Right.
And he doesn't want to do it, much like nobody really wants to cold call.
Mm-hmm.
And so what he does is he convinces his friends that how fun it is to paint the fence and how awesome it is and how much exciting. So from an inbound perspective, what happens in the story then is Tom's friends tell more friends about how awesome and what a great time they're having painting the fence. Mm-hmm. So Tom's just sitting there, and more people are coming and saying, hey, I want to paint the fence. I want to paint the fence. I want to paint the fence.
Right.
That's really what inbound is you can look through the phone book and call people all the day, all the live long day. But really what you want is to have those people come to you and say, I'm ready.
Yep.
So when we're talking about inbound marketing, and the tactics, that's really what you're meaning, right?
Right. And so those tactics inside of there, you're reaching out, and actually it looks like my video paused for a second. So I'm going to go ahead and screen share back.
I was excited. It looks like I was about to karate
super exciting. The things that you do inside of that are all designed to just be a little bit more helpful, to just offer a little bit more context, to answer the question that you know your client is asking before they even know that they're going to ask it. So you have your ideal client, you know what their pain points are, what causes them to want to work with you. They're frustrated with their current situation, and you offer a solution to that situation. So easy inbound marketing tactic, or easy marketing tactic period, is to provide an example that meets that need. So it's a Bob Smith visited our website and or did X, and as a result of Bob working on this, you'll start to see this in advertising everywhere. Actually, I was thirsty. Now I'm not. I had my mouth was dry and I was dehydrated, and now I'm magically better thanks to Pepsi or whatever. Right. So focusing on what that net result is, you wouldn't advertise anything really by saying, it has 11 herbs and spices and it does all this stuff. You'd say it tastes good. You'll be full at the end of the day. What's the end result of what you're doing? For a lot of the bigger brand food stuff, right? It's a little bit more esoteric because there really isn't a tangible benefit to having a cheeseburger at McDonald's. It's just you're comfortable. It's something that is going to be quality and consistent, and it's cheap and whatever, right? So think about the net benefit result and work that into your tactics. So paid marketing, obviously, you can drive traffic with paid marketing, and you can bank on those results. Google will tell you how many clicks you're going to get, and if you know how many clicks it takes to get a conversion, all you need to do is spend enough to get the amount of leads in the door that you need. For search engine optimization and content, it's a little bit murkier. On average, a good SEO campaign will take up to 6 months to really get you to the top of those results when people are searching. So make sure that you're building some time into your content marketing. But of course, in addition to paying Google, you want to make sure that you're showing up in Google search results when you're not spending money. Social engagement, when people search for you, you want to make sure that they show up, and you want to be part of conversations. Email marketing, video, all of those things are designed as tactics to engage people, to share stories, and to get them to take some physical, tangible result. So the call to action, which I don't really talk about in here, but if your website on every single page doesn't tell your visitor what to do next, and it's different by every page probably, but unless your customer knows what to do from every single page, you're missing out on big opportunities to convert them into customers.
Well, otherwise you're just presenting a brochure.
Right. You're presenting a brochure, but really you're presenting where's Waldo.
Yeah.
Right. So if it's a hunt to try and find what you need to do, and if you're telling everybody to go to your homepage, but then you have to click 6 different places in order to get to that sale, that's why you're not selling as much as you need to be.
Yeah. So Dave, on your way here today, you drove here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you drove by a billboard, right?
Sure.
What was it?
No idea.
Okay. So it went in one ear and you saw it.
Yep.
You were educated in some way.
Yep.
But it went in one ear, not the other.
Absolutely.
You are not likely to buy that product or service.
Correct.
So the book will tell you that most people in America today are marketed to 500 times a day.
Yep.
So one of the things that we focus on is trying to get you within about 2 seconds to actually get. I was doing the karate chop thing again.
Perfect.
To actually get to take the action that you want somebody to take, because the amount of time that you have to have an attention span is very minute.
Right.
So that when Dave's talking about calls to action, that's why is people have given you the gift of looking at you for even a short amount of time. Now it's a question of what you do with it from there. And
Absolutely.
if your website is just informative, that's really pointless.
Right.
It's nice. I can go to the library and I can learn something, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to buy from you.
Right.
So that's what the value of a good call to action.
Absolutely. And so your goal is to shorten the path as much as possible between people identifying their need and deciding that they need to work with you.
Yeah.
So if they visit your website and it's an encyclopedic compendium of knowledge.
Wow, those are 2
that?
SAT words right
away.
Wow. Feel free and pause this and
look them up.
Check out the thesaurus.
The etymology of those.
I know what that means.
Syntaxes.
That's a bug, right?
Yeah,
An etymology?
Absolutely. It's the study of bug-shaped words.
Right.
So the deeper you can go and the more you can connect directly between my customer needs this and here's how they're going to get it, If you can show when someone searches for your website or when someone searches for XYZ that you do, if you can send them to a page that says, here's how to solve that problem and here's why you should work with us, your job's almost done.
Mm-hmm.
The inbound marketing philosophy, by the way, will tell you your next step. It bites it into baby steps. So download this white paper on how you can solve that problem, or check out this short video, or attend an event like this.
Right.
So
thanks for coming, by the way.
Yeah, the more you can engage with people to get them to that next step, the better. But how on earth do you know if your big marketing budget that you just set is going to be effective? You need to measure. So here's,
oh my God, is this a bugaboo for me?
Yes, it's tough. It's tough because what are those most important things? If you look at it, you know, a lot of marketing people, and especially the folks that are less
transparent,
maybe a little tall on the snake oil, would try to tell you would be, yeah, if we get 17, if we get you to page 2, or if we get you to the top, to position 2 in your SERP, your ROI is going to go up by X percentage.
That's a lot of letters.
It's a lot of letters, and
what
it doesn't
mean
mean
to my
much.
bottom line?
Exactly. So what you need to be asking is, what are the component parts that people need to do in order for me to get an additional sale? What's your baseline? What's a realistic goal? So if you know what you're doing, you're going to need to take that back and do something with it. So what are the key things that everyone needs to consider? So you'll know that, of course, you need traffic to your website, but it's the kind of traffic that you're getting that matters. How many click-throughs on your website? How many connections? How many opens on an email versus how many clicks on an email, right?
Yeah.
So you're trying to get people, and you know, it's easy to hide behind numbers and fake stats. So what we always do with all of our digital marketing clients, again, we have several dozen clients that are paying BusyWeb as their entire marketing department to handle all of the components of their marketing. We share with them a report at the end of each month that says, here's the additional leads that you received, or whatever it is for the client. It might be actual purchases, it might be new leads, it might be, you know, whatever matters most in the sales funnel for that client. Here's X amount more that we got.
One of the things that we found, and the reason why we do what we do, and this as this relates to budget, is there are a lot of different statistics that we can make look meaningful. And there are a lot of different ways in which we can present it to make us look great. But at the end of the day, what we found from our customers that love us and really come back and work with us over and over and over again is we focus on their goals and their what I call offline goals, which is how much did we move the needle to the positive?
Right.
How many more leads, how many more sales, those kind of numbers.
Right.
And then the marketing backs up from there. So that begs the question, what exactly is the value of a marketer?
Mm-hmm.
If I give you my mother's phone number, does that mean I've done my job? I've given you a lead. Here's Kathy's number.
Mm-hmm.
Well, on the one hand, yes, I've met my contractual obligation. You have a new lead that you can call on. Mm-hmm. But my mother's probably not going to buy from you. Right. So have I really done my job? On the one hand, yes. On the other hand, what we think here at BusyWeb is the answer is no. Mm-hmm. So it's not filling a pipeline, it's filling the pipeline well.
Right.
Getting the right kind of people.
Mm-hmm.
And so one of the things, the reason why we have these monthly meetings with our clients is, and it's why we advocate that you do the same thing with your marketing vendor, is we want people to hold us accountable. Mm-hmm. Not for the numbers that aren't meaningful.
Right.
That billboard that you drove by today, probably 100,000 people are going to drive by there. Mm-hmm. How many more people are going to have the same reaction that you did, which is, I don't know.
Right.
So is that really a valuable metric? Well, no, because you don't know how much that's really pushed the envelope.
Yes.
And that's what we want to focus on. And so as you're looking for setting your budget, it's important that you don't get into the marketing trap, I think, of having a marketing vendor tell you, just wait longer.
Right.
It's going to work.
Right.
Because within about 3 months in any new enterprise, marketing people will be able to tell you it's going to work or it's not going to work, and show you a positive trend and explain to you with data, explaining why it's going to work.
Right. And meaningful data. Yeah. Right. It's not, look, we got you went from 50 Facebook likes to 75. So we improved your results by 50%.
Right.
Yeah. I didn't see a single call. Yeah. Right. So what matters to you? And then also being fair to your marketing team, that just because they're providing content and context and driving traffic, if you have a crappy salesman or a crappy process at the end of that, you're going to say, well, we didn't sell a single new program.
Okay.
We have clients that we've, over the past, and this was at the very beginning, we sent them 300 leads in the course of a month. And we asked them at the end of that month, so how did the sales go? And they said, we didn't have time to look at them, so we haven't really done anything with it. Like,
so what did you just do?
You just spent several $1,000s for nothing? Like, let's talk about that. Let's figure out how we can make sure that you're taking advantage of these, because if you just would have picked up the phone or sent an email, a copy all email, you probably would have made a couple $100,000.
And that really gets back to the original point that we were making about realism.
Right.
Is that if you want to double your business and use marketing in order to do it, we are not going to close business for you. We are going to tee the ball up. You still have to hit it and hit it well. If you don't have the capacity to double your business, have the support staff, have the operations staff, have the sales staff to close the business, you shouldn't spend the money. Do not call me and say you want to give me money to market for the business if you cannot support the increase. Because in many ways, in many occurrences, we're the be careful what you wish for guys.
Yeah.
Because people come to us and say, oh my gosh, that's great. Now stop it.
Right.
Please calm this down. We can't. Once the ball gets rolling, the ball gets rolling.
As a matter of fact, we do have some seasonal clients where we have to be very careful about that, because marketing's really hot for a while and they need to focus on the ramp up to their hot season.
Yeah.
But then they can't take any additional leads after they're completely full.
Right.
So we work with them and we budget that, and then we contract our marketing during those hot spots and try to level out the budget and the revenue stream throughout the year.
There was a point I wanted to make to clarify that you made about trusting in your marketing staff in that and focusing on the numbers. So if you're holding your marketing staff accountable, that's absolutely the correct behavior that you should do. However, the way in which you do that is you hold them accountable at the beginning and say, how much time is it going to take to really get these leads? And then you should see growth towards that. So for instance, one of the things you said is SEO strategies really take about 6 months to work. The first 90 days, if you have an SEO strategy, you will feel like you're lighting money on fire.
Right.
Period. You will see absolutely no tangible benefit to it.
Right.
But the next 90 days, you'll start to see some tangible benefit. So holding your marketing staff accountable at a month, 2 month isn't going to do you any good. So make sure that what they tell you in the beginning is what they are trying to achieve.
Yes.
And that's one of the reasons why we have these monthly meetings with our clients, is we want to show this is what we've done in order to get there.
Here's the needle, here's where it's moved, and here's where we're on our way to go.
Right.
So, and that's important. And we have clients that we have coaching conversations on those exact topics.
Yeah.
Because they don't get it. Or there are SEO and advertising companies that say, I guarantee I will get you X. And what they will do to get that guaranteed result is either something like black hat SEO, or what Google deems illegal things, or things that will get you banned from keywords. It'll work for a while. If they flood the market with backlinks to your website from all kinds of random sources, your results will go up for maybe a week.
Or it's artificial.
And then you'll get banned. And then it'll go down through the roof or through the floor, and you will never see that traffic again because you will be blacklisted.
But they did their job. They got you traffic.
They guaranteed it.
Yeah.
Right.
And they did it.
And they also tend to just find the most random and weird keywords.
Mhm.
So, if
Oh,
you're
long tail. Oh God, long
Yeah.
tail keywords. Man,
Uh-huh.
I can go off on that for a long
Yeah,
time.
I can get you long tail keywords day one, but no one needs a left-handed pink featherweight duster, right? So you need
We should
a
SEO
specific
for
thing.
that now.
Let's try it.
Is how long is it going to take us to get to the top of left-handed pink feather duster?
Yes, I think if we're really good at it, all you would need to have is a single page on the web that would get you to that
I think we'll
top,
do. I think
result.
we'll do that now. We have action items for us after this.
Perfect. So, all of this to say, you need to know who you're trying to market to. You need to know what you're trying to accomplish with your marketing. You need to know how you're going to manage and measure if you're moving the needle. And that's what goes into setting a marketing budget. It sounds like rocket science. It can seem overwhelming, but really, you set a stake in the ground. You ask people to, or you ask your marketing company to move you toward that stake. And then are you doing it, yes or no? And everything else that you do over the course of that year should be designed to get an incremental X, whatever that is. So I want to wrap this up for you because I promised to get us done within a year, within an hour, within a year. We're talking about the progress of 2018.
I want to go home tonight. I can't be
We'll get you there.
For a year.
We'll get you there by October 2018, Trygve.
Fair enough.
All right. So Q&A, if you do have any questions, I would love for you to send those back. If you do have a question and you'd like to direct it to either of us, it's just our first names at busyweb.com. So Dave at busyweb.com, Trygve at busyweb.com. What was your fun one? We have a couple of aliases for you because people keep misspelling your first name.
I don't even want to talk about it.
It's like hey you or something. Yeah,
I have like 12 email addresses because of how people spell my name wrong. But
if you want to go really random, just send something to hello@busyweb.com and it'll go to Trygve. So make sure that you're reaching out to us. We'd love to take those questions. I didn't see any in the Q&A. Not a huge surprise there because it's a little bit tough to get to. If you'd like to keep in touch with us and know what's happening coming up, we have a whole bunch of events. We're going to be talking about where Dave is in the world, but also we have some really, really fun videos that we put out once a month. And we're concepting our next one this afternoon, Trygve.
Yeah, it's very exciting.
We made Trygve taste all kinds of pumpkin spice flavored things. So check out our YouTube channel if you want more information on that and watch us torture Trygve.
Watch me squirm.
If you text BUZZY, BIZZY to 22828, that will get you in front of that list so that you'll see something from us at least once a month. It's never a sales message. It's always helpful, informative, and things that you should know. If you would like, everyone that did register to today's event, just watch your email. You're going to get an invite to chat about your budgeting strategy. And it's a simple, easy thing. You're going to get a link, and that link looks like this. That's Trygve. We'll take you out to coffee. We'll have a conversation. Within 15 minutes, we'll help you drill down what really matters about your marketing. If you want to get a hold of me, here's my contact info. Anything you want to leave us with, Trygve, as we close out our context for the day?
Yeah, I think as you're working through your budget, realize it's going to be scary, and realize it's hard to put real numbers to things. But for really to be able to grow, you have to understand where you are to start, and it's okay. Yeah. And if the numbers aren't where you need it to be, everybody's got to start somewhere. You have to start somewhere, and just realize that you can get to where you need to go.
Yeah. And it doesn't need to be perfect. To accomplish more with marketing, you don't have to have a perfect marketing plan. You do have to have a marketing plan and a budget. So figure out what it is. Maybe it's $500 for the next year.
Yeah.
Maybe it's 500,000. Who knows what you need as a business?
Only if it's 500,000.
Talk to that guy. The point is, make sure that you're setting something up and setting yourself up for success in 2018. We know that everyone's talking about this stuff and that you're thinking about it right now. So take that time and just set it aside. If you have questions and if you think that you'd like to talk to us for more stuff about this, let us know. We'd love to help. With that, I'm Dave, and
I'm Trygve.
thank you very much for hanging out with us today. And remember, at BusyWeb, we
Generate buzz without getting stung.
Take care. Bye.
See you next time.